Hello. That's Renji. What? You wouldn't pick your friend's nose, but would you pick their brain, chat? Okay, we got more. Oh, that's right. Well, don't do that. Anyway, this is Renji's first crowd control game, I believe. First modded. It's not even that modded. Don't worry about that part. Boop, 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 boop. You want a flashlight? Too late, it's coming. Guess what, guys? You can also mess with Renji. You can make him drop stuff and not me. Wouldn't that be cool? What if you didn't just mess with me and you also mess with that one? No. Oh, shut. It's Christmas. Do you hear it? We wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, wait. I didn't put the game audio. Nobody could hear you. I was talking to myself. But they didn't hear you say to mess with me. Can
they hear me now?
No.
Check on stream. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Flashbang. Flashbang. Flashbang.
Okay, back to muting.
Flashbang.
Come on in.
Don't tell me what to do. I've been doing this by myself. I'm a professional. Solo artist.
I've watched you die a lot, if that's what you mean.
That's y'all's fault. Yeah, guys put a horn in my hand. I don't know what else to do but to honk it, and then a dog attacked me.
Okay,
that was
a great clip, though.
Dude, there's 3 of those. One from you,
Yeah,
Safi, and Ulysses.
That's how good the moment was.
It's good to see that my mic still doesn't pick up my screams. Hey, I found a turret. Do you think it knows us on the naughty list?
Why don't you go over there and somebody freeze you, and then we'll find out.
There's a freeze button?
Yeah, that's one of the things you can pay for.
Bruh.
Thing is, it's got a delay though, so like, you know, you got to time it really good.
A door.
What?
A key.
Aquí, aquí.
Pinta aquí, por favor. Pipe. Pipe. Pipe.
Where'd you go?
I'm looking for the valve. Can't see. I don't see a fucking valve.
Oh, there's the noise. I was gonna say, like, I couldn't hear the valve make a noise. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hello. Where's this valve? Is it in the locked door?
Maybe.
But it's like clear. Oh no, it's not. I'm a liar.
Why do you lie to me?
Oh, there's stairs. It's stairs. I'm not a liar. There's no valve in here. It should be in there. Where the fuck is it? Where's the stupid valve? I want to be able to see if I need to run away. Is that on the other side?
I know, but I'm full, so I'm leaving. Bye.
It's supposed to be on the other side. I don't know where it is. I'm gonna go upstairs then. Oh, is it up here? There's the leak. Alright, guys. I got it. I got it. Find it. There it is. Got it. Professional, guys. I'm a professional. Alright, now what's in here? Ooh. Ah, shit. I don't want to carry that. Can't see shit like that. When do you find engines? Hey! 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 Stop it! I'll breathe in my ear. What was that? Hello? Again. Well, that's not a good sign. Is that... nothing? This feels like I'm gonna fall. I feel like that one's a trap. That one's definitely a trap. Fuck this baby, bro. There's a spider! There's a spider! Where did that baby come from? Does that work on Renji, though? I don't know if that worked for him. He's being really quiet. Oh. Oh, what was that?
Safe. Woo!
Wow.
I got this, and a whisk.
Why is he the boss? VIP boss. I had reason to be paranoid. I had reason.
Nice scream.
Huh?
Good scream.
There was a baby, and I was like, well, fuck. So I tried to run past it. But then it turned into not a baby. And then there was a spider, and I had toilet paper in my face.
I know. I can see what you're doing. I just can't hear. You know, because it'd be real confusing to just hear like an echo chamber on a delay. But I
Chat,
ran in there to
I
tell you,
found
hey, it's late.
this. And I found this. And I found this.
I found a dummy. Yeah.
Ah, what the fuck? What pushed me? What was that? Anyway. Ah. Moving. Okay, we
Yeah,
can
I
go
ran
back to
in
the
there.
shrimp one.
I literally ran in there just to be like, yo, dummy, it's late. We gotta leave it.
It
Like,
was
there's a
late?
spider. Yeah, it was like 6
Oh.
p.m. and it was like, oh shit. But I didn't know where you were. Like, and then I heard you go, it's a spider, and then you died.
Yeah, the baby ate me. I don't have a flashlight. I ain't buying it. I got monies.
Okay.
Pro flashlight. The way I have my mic sitting, it's makes it difficult to type and shit. 'Cause my keyboard's
Yeah,
like
same.
way over there, and then this has got a really long cord connected to it. Honestly, I'm surprised I don't have a short in it. Guys, if you're a screamer, don't get a podcast mic.
Well, for one, I'm a streamer. You're a screamer.
It fucks up your sound quality, which is shit. Especially when it's a $200 microphone.
Hey, chat, don't forget to put happy birthdays in the chat.
It's not my birthday. It's Thursday.
It's close though.
I thought we were on experimentation. Where are we?
I don't know what you just said. It was literally roboty.
Yeah, the audio is kind of funky for you. Oh. Fuck. That's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Come on in.
Back into the mine. Hi ho, hi ho.
It's off to work we go. What, you can't whistle? Yeah, I was there for that conversation. Oh no, these doors open real slow. I found the power.
Cool.
This is a nice mine. It's got electricity and everything.
Also, I can whistle, but I don't know if my mic would pick it up.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. I don't think mine did. Mine didn't pick up mine. It did? It wasn't flashing. Just now.
Whoa, the echo.
Ah! Nope. I gotta take this flashlight back. Fuck you. I gotta save the flashlight. Gotta save the flashlight. I don't know how much money we have sitting on our ship either. Oops. You guys, why? Chat to behave. Chat to behave. Oh no, there's a big rock. Nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I saved this flashlight. I did a good job. I did a good job. How are you most profitable? I think that moon was eclipsed.
Someone turned it eclipsed.
294. We're not that low. It's rainy here now, though. Let's go to the tried and true.
Okay. Yeah, whilst I was dead, I had a chance to...
Yeah, I
to
saw.
look at what was redeemed, and I'm like, oh.
I saw you redeeming your coin for your coins.
Oh, I just wanted my coins, man. I saw what everybody else was redeeming, though. That's why it was eclipsed. Because someone did that one. It's up.
Rude. Your flashlight's in here. Smog. Doesn't it feel like home, Renji?
It's not this bad.
Well, some of this is dust. One day they're gonna try to sell you canned air.
No thanks. Man, I don't want no canned air.
Why did you sound like helium?
Why did you sound like helium?
What?
Is that gas in here?
So many teams high pitched voices.
Oh, that's why.
You sound so funny.
I mean, I've heard you like this before. Screech.
Should I screech just for the...
Whoa.
Ah, it's over.
Whoa, did you hear that transition as it was dying off?
No, you weren't talking.
You went from like super high pitch and then you
Uh,
It sounded like you were running out of batteries or something.
I don't have batteries.
You don't run on batteries, Robert?
No.
Oh. Our friend, why is it always... Fuck's sake.
Always the fucking Bracken? Yeah, that's what I wanna fucking know. The bitch can't even do it to my face, has to go behind me and snap my neck. At least look me in the eye when you do it.
And you...
Door. Dead end.
Remember? Oh.
Hey, stairs.
Oh, balls.
Balls?
Yo, balls.
Balls?
That's
Not
enough,
doing-
right?
No.
We can make it
Oh,
up.
you know what? It is actually. We just have to make it to the ship. Let me see.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a door up here. Here's a room.
There's
Emergency
a metal
exit.
sheet.
Emergency exit.
Upstairs? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Right here. Wow, what a good run.
Don't jinx it. Okay, I'm gonna take this back.
You get nervous. Are you nervous? Oh my god.
Oh, you're nervous.
Nuh-uh. I've been doing this for
uh.
several days. I am unbothered.
Yeah, yeah. That's what you say now
Unbothered?
until you start screeching.
Hey, just because I scream because I get startled doesn't mean I'm not unbothered. Good
Yeah,
job!
yeah, whatever, screech.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good song, Renji. Go triple platinum. I don't know what that fucking means.
I think that means you sell like 3 million copies of your single or something.
That's crazy. Who's buying music still? I listen on Spotify. Not sponsored.
Well, you know, there's the whole sort of like physical
Nice.
revolution coming back because everyone's like, oh, if all of these platforms decide to just be assholes and like shut down, then you don't have anything. So now everyone's kind of all like, oh, I want the physicals because at least when the world ends, I still have all the stuff.
Hmm. Go Renji, it's your birthday. Go Renji.
It's your birthday.
It's neither of our birthdays.
Yeah, mine's already come and gone. So quick. Like, when you think about it, like, as of tomorrow,
Funny.
my birthday was a week ago. That's nuts.
Crazy.
Music.
Tomorrow, my cat. Where's the music? I turned it off. It only does it the first set of days. You can shut it off. This is a speaker.
Oh.
I think that's new. Don't turn the lights off. Dude, there was this game my brother and I used to play. We'd go around and play cars without headlights and just run into each other. My parents hated it because we kept injuring ourselves.
Yeah, I wonder why you would injure each kid.
We just doing the small
Alright.
stuff first?
Sure. It's okay. When me and my like.
Ow!
Ah.
Who did that? Ow! God damn it, now we're not gonna make quota!
Alexis, was that you?
Is this open? Is that open? It was. 262.
Oh, we only need like 300 something.
302, I think.
309, I think.
Isn't it 302? It had to have been Alexis, right? I should dock your pay for even assuming that, pout.
Well,
Do we
you're the
need-
only person
oh.
I know that's in the chat, man. Also because you redeem high-pitched voices, so I assume.
Damn it! When did
What?
you get 2 engines?
Do you remember when you died on that other one when you're like, Spider? I brought that first engine back, and then in that last run I got one.
I am hurty.
Yeah, me too.
Why do your boots sound squelchy?
You know, I like to.
Don't
walk
pee in
yellow.
your Don't pee in your boots.
Well, I don't know how to take the suit off.
Ugh, that was too much. Why are those bottles so expensive?
I think the
Oh,
bottle's
right.
gonna make some space booze.
Space booze?
Yeah, that's why they want the bottles. Space booze.
Hooch?
Space moonshine.
Hooch. It's when you make it in a turlet.
It's that. There's an actual brand over here called Hooch.
Oh, that's like jail booze.
Yeah, I know. I knew that even when this brand came out.
Quota
But I think
reach.
over here they just thought it was like a word for alcohol.
Confirm. I have a
City.
scritch where my arm rests on my desk. The edge of my desk. It hurts.
My
This-
arm hurts from yesterday.
Dude, I woke up this morning, my
I
voice barely came out.
couldn't-
There's a
I'm
rock.
Surprised. Screech. I keep telling you stop going so hard.
It's not like I do it on purpose.
Is it gonna land on the rock?
Huh?
If you buy, like, if you bought stuff, do you think it would land on the big old rock?
No, because it lands over here. On this mound. Right there. Right there.
You okay?
Renji, you'll never believe it. I drank 2 cups of water yesterday. 2.
Only
One of
2?
them. Well, I usually drink 0, so.
Okay.
Heck
that's probably
you.
weird.
Don't follow me that closely. Also, wait. Did you get paid? Do you get paid for this shit? Renji? Okay, bye. Renji! Renji! Hey, yo, dummy! The fuck? Never heard from again. He's right there with Lizzie's.
Don't follow me.
I said don't follow me so closely. You followed me
No,
into
don't
a
follow me.
you followed me into a dead end.
No, don't follow me. Go away.
That's mine. I saw it first. I have a question. Do you get paid? Don't worry, I'll save you. What'd you do that for?
Stole my thing.
I didn't steal my. I brought it back to you.
Stole my thing.
I brought it back to you. Rip that engine.
4 days.
Oh, flashlight. Confirm. Oops, I should order 2. Would you like spray paint?
No.
Do you want a stun grenade?
No.
Do you want a jetpack?
Nah.
Well, we can't afford a jetpack anyway. It's
Why would that
$900.
even be helpful? We're like always trapped indoors. Why would that even?
Well, I mean, how is the car helpful? It explodes every single time.
It's funny.
Exactly, that's what the jetpack is for. You watch your friend launch themselves into space, and when it dies, they just drop and die.
I could watch you do that anyway. It's part of
There a really mean crowd control for the player that cheap but crewmate is expensive.
Yeah, that's why you gotta mess with you and not me.
Why is it expensive for fucking with Renji?
Because I'm the boss.
Nuh-uh.
That's what my title
I'm the
is.
boss. I'm the boss! I don't know where
My
the
actual-
ship lands here.
My actual in-game rank is title, like, is boss, so. Are you a boss? No, you're not, because you suck.
I can just kill you for 100 coins. What the fuck? Don't do that!
I've almost redeemed that a bunch of times.
Renji is for 500. That's crazy. And unfair. I don't remember how it changed the price of things.
You guys take away our stamina.
What, you can't run no more? Oh, keep it open. Blech. Oh, they put zoomies on. It takes a lot of stamina to zoom.
Yeah, by the way, that killed the player like you for 100. You don't know how many times I've almost just gone, you know what? Right now.
Yeah. They're so mean. Goddamn the mines again. Alright. We went so well the first time. Time for a reprise. To be fair, you can damage Renji for 10. Or Renji for 50. Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what that is.
What? Is that a laser pointer? Oh.
Locked. Engine.
Hey Renji, you never believe it. You could have just went around the door. This is a dead end. Why'd you do that? Why? My flashlight! They killed my flashlight.
Oh, nice.
What do you mean nice? That's not very nice at all. I feel like...
Did you know there was a key right next to the elevator?
Oh.
That's why I got this key.
Open this, so we can go around. There's nothing else the other way. There's 2 of them. Oh no, it's just wide. Don't shut me in here. I have to recall the elevator.
I set it down again. I set the thing down.
I was hoping the spiky thing would stab it. What the fuck?
Oh,
What the fuck?
lordy. Can't hear what you're saying because I've got the tab muted. I bet they're screaming all shit.
No. I was just
At
saying.
least I got my my V6.
I know, damn V6.
Wonder how big the displacement is. We'll make some big power with this, maybe. You know? Put a nice camshaft in there. Maybe some new pistons. High compression.
Compression.
Power. Guess we'll take a dance break.
Dance break. Illegal. Illegal. I'm reporting him. They'll dock his pay. I didn't know we got paid. But they'll definitely dock his pay.
Look at that lazy ass. Laziest employee. So lazy.
I found this.
You were dead. Lazy.
I wasn't. I was hoping the spikes would hit the thing. But it can go through the laser and not trigger the fucking laser.
Okay, so when I ran back, I was like I just walked back because, you know, we were like, oh, turret. And then my screen went dark and it started screaming.
Very
And I turned around, literally, if you're me, and you turn around, this thing just appeared right behind me and I was like, oh shit. So I just had to run into the elevator.
I saw
and
it.
get the fuck out.
I saw it appear. And I heard the elevator leave. I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna shut this door. I actually said, don't lock me in here. And then, oh, shit. And I was like, okay, you know what? Lock me in here.
The thing is, I sent it back down. And then I went to go... Like, I looked up at my other screen to watch the stream. And I just watched you run straight into the shaft. And then die. EOS!
Yes! Hey, you got the yippee? That was freaky. Shout out. If you got a gifted sub from EOS, make sure you thank him and give him a follow because he also streams. Oh.
Yeah, good one, EOS. Happy birthday.
My birthday is on Thursday. What? What are you doing? How are you doing that?
What? Doing what?
How are you walking in place like that?
Oh, I'm not. On my side, I'm just stood here, but I can see on stream, like, yeah.
What's he
Like,
doing?
walking and shit.
Anyway, we gotta go. Oh, hey, I have a flashlight. Somebody gave me a flashlight.
Are we back on the same moon?
Yeah. This
What
isn't
the hell?
ominous at all, right? That's totally not our mask.
Hey, you. We're back
Huh?
on Sons. It's
Sons?
Sons of the Forest.
That game has crowd control, too. I don't know what you do. Tell Kelvin to stab us in our sleep. Kelvin's revenge. App. 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 Hello? Did Renji die? Did you guys murder Renji? Did you guys kill Renji? Ooh. Bang. Renji! Renji? I found the sign.
I got some bottles, bruh.
You gonna make some more hooch? Apparently
Yeah.
this sign doesn't count as a two-handed object anymore. You hear that?
That's good. Hey, I found the, you know that thing you're not supposed to take?
Oh, we're... You guys just gotta make so much work. And drop that. Who did that? Who murdered him? Bring him back! Bring him back, chat! I'm gonna put him on the shit, and you guys better bring him back to life. I didn't say kill him! Why did you do that? That was expensive, too. I can't believe you've done this. Alright, Renji. You can have your flashlight and protect yourself with this, okay? Woo! Yeah. Who did it? Who murdered Renji? And he'll go get his bottles. He'll be sad. He can't make his booze. Eh? Alright. I have no idea how much we have. But I feel like it's not enough. I get the feeling it is not enough. It's defo not enough. Ugh, these bottles. Heavy. Wait. Filled the quota. Hype chest. Why do I get a hype chest? There's 2 of those things. And I don't have the thingamajig. They're violent if there's 2 of them. And they're dancing around my ship. Ah! Ah! Toffee? I'm stuck. Renji, I got your bottles, okay? Oh, yeah. That's... Oof. I think we're gonna die. Ah!
Well,
Will. That's awkward.
yep.
My ear itches. Well, I saw Ulysses gave us 225 towards our quota.
Right.
That ain't gonna help us too much. Hey, look, it's your flashlight. And my flashlight.
Yeah,
Alright.
It's not on the first slot.
You do the same thing.
What?
You do the same thing. It has to be in the first one.
Well, yeah, because otherwise it's just like, ugh.
Do you want to help me barricade to see if we can stop the thing from sucking us out?
Sure. I don't know how to do that though.
You sure it's B to... Oops. Move stuff.
Oh.
Alright.
Done.
Yeah, that's gonna get blown out. That fits through the door. We're gonna have to stack everything. Oh. Let's see. Why can't I pick it up?
Can you only do that when you're in space?
No, I got it. So, like,
Okay.
the... Nani?
Nani?
Like that. And then the computer. Alright. You ready to die?
Sure.
It will let me buy things for quota. Hello! Happy birthday. Birthday Thursday. But thank you.
Again, nothing stopped you from saying happy birthday to me every day, even up until my birthday, so everyone should do the same to you.
Because I'm the only one that did it to you? I think we can move this, too.
I tried. It wouldn't let me. Also, no, not because you were the only person who did it to me, because you set the
As you
precedent,
have
so
not
now
met
it's
the
just a
profit
thing.
quota, your performance has been deemed below
Look how
standard.
spacious
Welcome
it
to our
is.
disciplinary process.
It's a big,
Look how
big
spaceship it is.
spaceship shop. Ah, it didn't work. In fact, that was much faster than me hiding in the corner. That, the barricade didn't work. Oh shit! I just punched my monitor. That'd be
That
awkward.
was fast.
Yeah. Hmm. Down. Wolf should be joining us at some point, guys. In a few. Let me check my Discord. Sophie?
What?
I don't know why I'm answering your question. The stocking is safe, Safi. It's just the boots couldn't mismatch because V-Roid forces matching. Because they're mirrored. Oh, then we can just kill him.
What?
Yeah, I guess. You guys are violent. So sad, V-Roid. Why? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the feng shui.
Vroid does some weird things.
X2? Oh my gosh. Benji, we both get a
Also-
yellow flashlight.
Also, why is Mastermind saying we can just kill me? What?
No, Wolf.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Benji's like, oh, as long as it's not me, I guess.
But can you control that? Because it just says crewmate. How do you know it's definitely Wolf and not me?
I have no idea. I have never used crowd control from a user standpoint.
It's a random non-host crewmate, yes. So it could be me. Great.
Ulysses tried to help me once with the beehive. But the zoomies actually made it really hard to get inside of the ship.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hope you get lucky that it doesn't choose you. Mastermind, you have so many coins.
Mastermind, we all know I don't have any RNG.
Oh,
It would
gosh.
definitely kill me.
Unless you're already dead.
Well, I mean, if people have been, like, saving up their channel points, then, you know.
Oh yeah, people have tons of points. That's why I made it expensive.
Yeah, see, I don't, because I keep redeeming stuff to, like, throw at you and whatever, so.
Lowered the quota by 50. Sophie, we're on the first set of days. We died, remember? Where is the mist?
Oh, for God's sake.
Hydrate! Okay.
Grab that.
What?
I found a bracken room.
Well, that's lovely. Maybe I should leave the mist. Okay.
We have dead end.
I already turned off the mist. You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome. That's one of my favorite, like, Vine things. I don't know if it was originally Vine or TikTok, but it's like, hey, wake up. I just killed your whole family. What? But I live alone. Who are these people? What? There's people in my house? Well, not anymore, you dumb fuck. You're welcome. That's one of my favorite things. Favorite. Why is there 2 vents right there?
There's a
Fridge,
block.
fridge. What?
There's a slime.
Oh no, don't tell the Gen Zs.
Don't be here.
That is slime, not goo, and it's also green blue, not purple blue. It has to be blurple to be Sophie. Hey, I found metal.
Was that vent there always open? The
He
one
came
just
out of that
on the-
vent. Oh,
Do you see that over there? Great.
yeah.
The way back.
Well, time to
Okay,
find the alternate route.
Yep.
There's a door up here. This door is dead. It's a dead door. Oh, the slime's coming. Do you think it will fall?
I doubt it.
He ran away. Oh, it's going up the stairs. Does this work? Do you want a shot to shoot the bracken? Shoot the bracken? Hell yeah. Where is the fucking bitch at? You can shoot the fucking Renji, there's no door this way. We gotta go. We gotta go somewhere else. Oh no.
Quick,
Oh no.
just sprint back up here.
Is there a door over here?
I don't know. Yeah, there's one over there.
Hey, guns are
There's
heavy.
More hallways and stuff.
Hey, there's a key. There's another key.
Really shouldn't be picking up all these keys.
How many keys do you have? Okay, not this way.
I mean, I got 2 on me at the moment, but you know when it's just like.
I think we gotta go down that hallway. Oh, the slime's coming. He's gonna cut us off.
Benjamin.
What?
That was so confusing.
What? I can't understand you.
the
Is that-
dead end.
Oh my god, that.
That confused the shit out of me. You came in and I didn't see it happen on screen. You came in and all I heard was, what? Hope we're not stuck in here.
I think we're stuck in here. This was the only.
Oh. Okay, well you go and check first, because I'm holding stuff.
Oh. Ah, he's right there.
It's locked, and I got all this shit in my hand. Jeez. Idiot, why didn't you close the door?
Because then he'll come down the hallway. I was trying to get him shut in there. Numbnuts.
Fucking, don't tell me your plans then, just let it fucking happen, you dumbass. Sure. Fucking hell.
Where'd he go? Oh. Come here, slime. Don't I look tasty? What is that? Bracken? I'll fucking shoot you. I hope there's a bullet in this.
We are so dead.
He's not moving.
Just,
He's not moving anymore.
okay, well then I'm moving on. I'm out of here.
Oh, hey, a bullet. What?
That's
My shotgun!
well,
My shotgun!
I'm dead.
My shotgun!
Oh, we're
You
going.
kill. It's like Valorant all over again. You kill me while I'm reloading.
Oh, an axle. Oh, great. More stuff I can't carry.
How dare you? I can't believe you.
Oh.
I'm not the
What?
one that said I was going to kill you. What?
Look. But my engine. My. No, my engine. No. Fuck. I came back with. Oh. Fine. Alright, I'm leaving. Okay, what are you guys even doing?
Oh, goodness. What time is it? It looks really dark out there. Jeez, Mastermind, I swear, this has got to be your favorite thing, because you have redeemed so many coins!
Jesus, how many points is Mastermind got?
A lot, apparently.
Man, it's just been redeeming these 2,000.
That's what
like,
I've been
back-to-back
saying.
Friggin' points, dude.
Wolf said he'll be ready in like 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know when that was sent. 10:59? Okay, that was like 20 minutes ago. When stream started...
When stream started?
Today?
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow. Oh. It's kind of stupid that if I'm in the sky, we can't invite anybody else.
So, what have we got?
Yeah, we gotta exit and then... Just sent it, then was like, wait, I won't come mess with them.
Man, my V6.
You'll find another one.
Yeah, but
We could probably
could've-
do another moon before Wolf's ready.
Okay.
We can go get your V6.
Dude, that confused the
Oh.
shit out of me. I'm just like.
That was so
spinning
funny.
around.
It would, and on my perspective, like spectating you, you just kind of went up through the building into the ship.
Like, it was instantaneous on my screen. I'm like looking down at the floor. I'm spinning around trying to pick the engine up. Next thing I know, I'm just here.
You don't need coins. You're gonna be suffering with us. There's a clip. What's the clip of, guys? What? How many points do you have? How do you guys have so much neon? Stop!
Because apparently everybody is not redeeming to throw stuff at you as much as I am.
Nobody likes to hit me as much as Renji does.
Did you
Oh
get
wait,
your
my
flashlight?
flashlight.
Put it in there.
Should I bring the shotgun?
I don't know.
What?
Should you? Do you want to?
Why? Why is it dark? Be sure to redeem your free 250 coins in the actual CC app. You can find it under coins.
I wish you could see that on my perspective. I just... Oh.
I'm
hey.
alive. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for the disguise. I am not Hugh Fracture. I'm
Yo.
someone else with a
I
mustache.
turned around and you were doing a corpse launch like backflip in the sky. Or your shotgun.
Just get another 250 once a month if you have a subscription.
Hey, hey.
Oh, right.
shotgun.
Sorry, dying has done stuff to my brain. My God. I didn't even get in the building.
We did nothing.
What is
You
that?
just fucking
Shh.
died.
There might be a robot stepping around.
Or they redeemed sound effects.
You don't trust anything, do you?
No, but also because in mod mode I can see that there's like 9+ redemption.
Oh.
Like, I can see the activity feed. I don't have it open, but like, I can just see that 9+, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure people are redeeming stuff. Why are you so quiet? Come on.
I don't know. I gotta adjust my headset, I think. If I did Christmas merch, it would just be my model with the pink mustache and the sunglasses and this Christmas hat, I think. This would be what my Christmas merch would look like.
You should have that as a sticker. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I could do that. I could hand make stickers.
You know, like a holographic sticker?
Oh, I don't
like
have
that as well?
that capability. I have to put a screen over it. Oh, how cool would it be if it was one of those ones where you tilt it and it wiggles the mustache?
High pitched, but yes.
That'd be
Hey,
cool.
Happy birthday.
Ah, present! It's for you! Let's go, Alvin. A key.
Oh, cool.
Do we go that way? Or do we go this way?
I don't know. I'm just gonna drop the engine by the door. You grabbing the box, eh?
No.
Oh.
I found parkour. I'm sad
Yeah, I
about
found
it.
too.
I'm sad
What did you
about
do,
it.
baby?
If I just remembered I was saving up for VIP.
Rip.
Oh gosh, what is VIP set to? Speaking of which, I wanted to give Mastermind VIP because he helped me a lot with Elden Ring. Viewer.
Don't you have it set to like 80,000 or something? Also, Wolf, you're like a friend. You could just probably ask.
Probably. Maybe he wanted something to put his points to. Renji, where do I add
Maybe.
VIP?
You can, what, you want Mastermind? I can do it. You said Mastermind, right?
Yeah. Because he helped me with Elden Ring lots. And I'm dumb. Which makes Elden Ring even harder.
Oh, what? Apparently as a mod, I can't add people to the VIP list, but if you're in chat, you can just, Gremlin, you can just type /VIP and then type Mastermind username out.
Wait, where is it? Mastermind. Yeah.
There you go.
See, I don't know about the chat. Come here. Aw, fuck.
What? Oh shit. Okay, I'm taking my engine and running.
Did you just run through it? How'd you do that?
There's a tiny bit of space. The hitbox isn't big, but...
You better hurry up. Oh, okay. Hmm. Fuck off. Ah! It didn't shoot him. He's killing me. Am I dying? What the fuck? What was that? They're better at parkour. Oh, there's a giant. I told you I heard thumping. 1, 2, 3. Renji, I died. Oh. Rip. What are you dotting? I have never been successful at that parkour, okay? I didn't die to
That's
parkour.
unfortunate.
Everybody's lying. Everybody's lying. They're liars. All of them.
I was at the ladder of the ship.
Yeah, I saw that. And then you got picked up. You got uppies. And crunchies.
I think because we were made fast, so... Or, I don't know, probably also because I was holding the engine, but god fucking damn it.
I gave you bad jumps for a funny, then it ran out, and then you chose to dump. You still didn't pick it. You guys don't have to nerf me with parkour. I nerf myself. Your engine. It was all wrapped up nicely, too. By the way, the
everything.
shotgun didn't fucking do anything.
Oh, great.
I think they gave me blanks.
What happened to our sheet?
We died.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wolf, do you need another moon run?
yeah, Wolf, you ready? Or what's the crack?
What's the crack? I can wait if y'all want to finish the run. I mean, y'all have a day.
Oh, we can make short work of that.
Oh, you want to do it? On the
We
flooded
don't
one?
have to, I'm just saying.
Will you make short work of it? Alright, guys, start a timer. How fast? Oh my god, everything is fucked.
Yeah, make short work of it. We can either just like land somewhere and then die straight away, or
Yeah,
go inside
we'll
and
go to
then
the flooded
die
one.
to something.
We'll go to this flooded one. Everything's flooded, eclipsed, or
Everything's-
has a giant hole in the middle and it's foggy. Oh. Geronimo! I missed! God dang you, ship. I thought I was gonna sink. How do I drown? Drown. There we go. I can drown by crouching. I'm a mermaid. I'm a mermaid.
Long.
I can hold my breath for a long time. Does the ship, like, disintegrate items that are in there? Because there's nobody to take it off.
I guess.
Or is there someone at the spaceport that takes in, is like, this is your insurance coverage. Alright. I'm gonna quit the game so that we can restart it, and I'll send you another invite.
Okay.
Confirm. Host. Confirm. Shift tab. Invite to game.
Report to the company building immediately to sell the
Invite
scrap
to
metal
game.
and other goods.
Wolf,
have
you
shown
started
this
it through
company.
Thunderstorm, right?
You can use
The
the
modded
terminal to
version?
route the autopilot to the company building.
What? We're playing modded?
Whoa, crazy. Okay. It was just weird because I can see that you're playing on Steam. And I can't see Renji's online on Steam.
Oh yeah, that's because I'm invisible. My bad.
Great, I have two bosses. Yeah. Where's my escape button?
Hey,
Alright, we brought you here so that you could die with us.
wait, so how come Wolf and I are bosses and you're not? Why do you suck so bad?
I play this a lot solo.
Wow.
Do you hear that typing?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I was like, I hear typing. I was like, wait, that's me. I forgot my mic picks up that on.
That was a lot of typing.
I thought you were trying to hack into something. Company confirm. We
Or
brought
try
you
to hack the
here
mainframe.
to die with us. Prepare
I
yourself.
will survive. I will survive.
No, you won't. We're
Not
going
when
to the
they just
company.
redeem kill.
We're also just going to the company, so the first thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna die.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to
Eh.
avoid dying. Oh, did me dirty.
He went to kill himself, didn't he?
I heard him climb a ladder. I think he's just on top.
I don't. Oh, he jumped. He jumped from the top.
Oh, okay. Well,
Don't worry. I'll bring you guys back. Somebody's still up there. Oh, did you not make the jump? I thought you
I
were
didn't
jumping. Oh.
No.
Oh, we're gonna die together. That's what friends are
you and
for.
me, bestie. You and me, bestie.
And Wolf, right there.
You can't escape your fate.
Goodbye. Barricade me.
Report to the company building immediately to sell your scrap metal and other goods.
We were just there.
No speaker. No.
Can you land the ship and then fly us back up, Scotty?
I don't know who this Scotty is, but okay.
Oh, warning. Do it, do it, do it. Do it while he's distracted. Do it while he's distracted.
Try.
Hmm?
I think he managed to jump. Oh, he's off. I
Yep.
can't pick up. There is no escape. You can't find us if we're broke.
Report to the company building immediately to sell your scrap metal. and
I can
other
see your feet.
You have 0 days left to meet the profit.
Don't look at
quota.
my feet.
You can use
I
the
can see your
terminal
grippers.
Don't look at my
Don't
feet.
go.
This is my corner.
Let me out. Let me out.
This is my ship.
Wait.
What? Why is
I'm
this?
not getting ejected yet?
Yeah, why? This is the second one. Why are we not getting ejected? Why is it 80?
I don't know.
What is happening?
I don't know.
What happened? Is the game
I don't know.
bugged?
Did we break it? Is it broke? It's broken?
It's really determined for us to get this quota, huh? It's only 80. They're like, you're not dying until you bring us scrap. Fine. Ah, you punched me.
He's
Oh,
okay.
you don't have push on. I was trying to push you.
Yeah, there's no push mod.
Nope, too late. This is the wrong map. I was about to try to jump off early.
Burn me. Burn me alive. Damn it. Didn't work. I hurt my knees. Guys, we could just live here. The company would never know.
I mean,
We
practically do. We hear a lot.
It's safety. It's comforting.
Alright, I'm over here hearing you talk on stream, so I'm thinking y'all are close.
Yeah, I muted the stream tab.
Yeah,
It's
I'm about to
confusing.
do the same.
Quick. do it myself.
Fast player. Oh, hell yeah, zoomies. Whee! Whee! Found a dead end! There's nothing in here. I'm so fast. Fast as fuck, boy.
Dude,
Ah!
I'm waiting for that smash cut that just like jumped out to you screaming and dying.
Hello? Hello? This is a wall. The walls, they talk back. Oh, stairs. I found stairs. Vite aquí.
Aquí.
Oh, a key. Hey, what does this do? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Door? Guys, there's a bracken!
Great. What's always a friggin' bracken mean?
A present.
Emergency exit.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's get boozy.
Right,
Get
right.
it? Because
We
it's
need
a
to go.
flask. Oh, okay. Okay.
Wolf is gonna be in there like, probably, like for us now, and we're like, oh, we're gonna go. We found a flask. We're going back to the ship.
We got science to do.
Yeah,
Um,
science, bitch.
If you look at the top of this flask, it doesn't have a hole.
Yeah.
I don't know if this flask will work. Do you have a glass cutter? We could probably make one.
I got the key.
That might work. Shake it up real good. It's called tritulations or something like that. Shake it.
Should we be concerned?
Melt
that,
a hole into it with science. Ooh. What?
That Ulysses just redeemed like 400 coins.
No, I'm sure it's fine.
Why'd your voice get all high like that? There's no
I'm sure it's
fine.
I'm sure it's fine.
Alright, Screech, calm down.
That sound was... Okay, there we go. Did he die? Oh. Interesting.
No, I think he's outside now. I think he's from the
Oops.
fire exit. Yeah, I think he's on his way back. Have you got anything that's like soothing
Huh?
for later? Like after streams, you should probably like, you know, drink lots of like soothing tea or something. You know?
Oh, tea. No, I don't have tea.
Okay, like, but it doesn't necessarily have to be tea, but you know, like honey and lemon or something. I know it's ironic that I just said that, but
Oh no! I think I left my honey back at the old place. It's one of those things I forgot. This hat is supposed to have RGBs, and I don't know how to turn the lights on.
I am back.
at least your hat has physics.
I've bought many.
I got
things.
this on the workshop.
Yeah, see, I made mine way before that was ever a thing.
Well, you could just
Blowing
use this
that
one now, and then your little spikes will poke through it. It'd be funny.
I don't want.
Like my spikes poke through it. Look at it.
Yeah, but you want that as a design element.
My pigtails poking through, yeah. Why is he going back? Well, if we can't sell this shit... What if we just left him?
I was just thinking that. Is that bad? That I was also just.
I
thinking,
mean, he
like,
killed me twice,
could
so
just
it's
leave.
payback. He killed me twice. What is that blue dot? What are those blue dots? I don't know, he's walked over some dots and... Oh, look, he found something. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did. Rip.
Yeah, he did.
Whoop. Missing? Hey, who's the most lazy employee now?
Wow, y'all left me.
Wolf, you do remember that we can't sell this stuff.
This is my own personal quota.
Oh.
I'm taking all
Hey.
this money with me.
Oh, no, that's my corner.
No, you are not allowed. Do
This is
not
my
take
corner!
this asshole.
This is my corner. I'm surprised we let Wolf do that for so long. Just boppity goop, you know? You guys like pork rinds? They smell awful. They don't taste very good,
Who's got snacks?
but I keep eating them.
It's not to me.
I do. You don't want any.
Good job.
You don't want any.
This is your very own
I have
autopilot
pork
ship,
rinds.
where you will start sleep.
Oh, even good? Snacks? Snacks? I don't
Oh, what?
I
what, what?
I'm crouching. Yes, please.
There you go.
Okay, well, you guys enjoy pork rinds. I'm gonna eat some chocolate.
Oh, wait.
Chocolate's gross. Wolf's like,
What?
oh dang, everybody got snacks. I want some.
Let me find. I have frosted
Yeah, but
flakes.
these are lint.
Why do you have a
chocolates.
box
These are
of
dark
Frosted
chocolate with
Flakes?
raspberries.
Because I was eating
Like
sweet.
the truffles? The balls?
Kind of.
Where it's soft
Mhm.
in the middle? Oh, I love those.
Mm-hmm.
My watch told me to stream. I am streaming, watch. Alright.
You know,
I
I
just
feel like
took a picture of the game with my phone, and the quality looks so much better on the picture than the game.
I wouldn't peg you as somebody who would eat pork rinds. You, for some reason, in my mind, I'm like, I feel like
It's
you would
weird,
be like,
right?
"No,
It's one of
that's
those
gross."
things I shouldn't want. Unfortunately, these ones are like with skin attached. And I'm like, I don't like that. The skin's got a weird texture.
Isn't pork rind all skin?
No,
Or
it's
just
fat.
deep fried?
It's
Yeah,
fat.
I guess they do have fat too.
But yeah, it's just something that in my mind, I'm like, you would not eat that. You'd be like, ew, gross.
It smells
But here we
awful.
are. Well, yeah, it's fucking fried fat, so it's fat in fat.
I've never thought about it that way.
Like,
You fry fat and refined fat.
yeah. I want more chocolate.
I don't have any more Uncrustables because my fiance is a little shit and keeps eating them instead of making real food. He'll eat 4 of them. And at that point, if you're eating more than one snack item, you should just make real food.
What, lazy?
It's pissing me off. Okay, we'll go.
You, you enjoying the ASMR chat? This is peak content.
What
Dummy
ASMR?
squad. Dummy squad eating into the microphone and talking to each other with a mouthful.
Why is this
Peak
here?
content.
Why is it dark?
Wanted to take it
Oh,
with
that's
work.
why. What?
Yeah, this is more fun. It's cursed. Look, I am.
Tell me a scary story. May the RNG ever be in your favor? Damn it, I got green.
What did you say?
Renji, the RNG's in your favor. You get a yellow one right here.
Oh, cool.
I said, may the RNG ever be in your favor, and it was not.
It was still 25 years now.
What? He saved that RNG up all year long and wasted it on a pro flashlight.
In a crowd control game.
In a crowd control game. As in, he'll lose it fast. There's one where you can get mega jumps.
Oh, the funniest thing is, like, the high pitch and everything is funny, but like, I know for a fact you could do that yourself because you have a voice changer that you've used before.
Yeah.
See, the high pitch or the voices, they used to not work when this first came out. So it's cool to actually see them now.
Wolf, it's been so confusing. It's happened so many times whilst we played just today.
See, I thought it was something on the ship talking at first. I was like, what is that?
Oh, cool. The mines. Get out of my face!
Right.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to leave y'all.
Chat.
Dropped one.
Uh,
Got it.
there's spikes right here.
Sent a pod with a
They're
cruiser.
on the timer. I did not have to
Oh,
go.
dang. I gotta go get the cruiser.
What the hell?
Can't waste Mastermind's coins. Oh, I thought I had to open it. Well. It is confirmed to be there, Mastermind. There's like 2 big chunks that are in my way. In my bag. So I can get the smaller pieces. 5 pieces. Ha. I hate this tiny green flashlight. I hate it so much. One time somebody took my pro flashlight and gave me this little green bitch. Surely they didn't die while this was up here, right? Want a better one? Well, one always wants a better flashlight, right? Why does the music stop like that? Hello? Guys?
Hello?
Are you dead?
No?
Wolf?
Wolf is in there.
No, he's... Is that you?
Huh?
Oh!
Okay, I'm going back to ship. Bye.
Oh, it's a turn.
Is there anything in there? This is a bad spot.
Close enough.
This is a bad spot.
Oh,
How did we survive? That's crazy work.
luck.
I got a thing.
My flashlight died.
You want this one? Wolf! Wolf?
I heard something in there.
Here. Here. Here.
Hmm? Oh, thank you. Oh. Thank you. Wait, how'd you get another one?
Chat. I was given a present.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh.
Crazy work, right? Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, there's that one bug that likes to fall on your head.
There's a lot of
Oh
metal
my gosh.
sheets.
Wait, stop.
Eh? Eh?
in there? Because I don't. Okay, good. I
What
was like, I
the-
can't go back in there.
Oh, I
'cause
thought this
didn't
was
know
the
if you'd
ship.
Stuff on it. Okay.
I thought that was the ship. Imagine if it was. You're gonna push me. Stop it.
Ooh, wait, what do you? Oh no.
Is there like stairs or something?
No, we just have to drop. Oh, Reggie bought a bus.
No.
Finish up.
He's already smoking. Renji, what'd you do?
What do you mean?
Why is it smoking?
I don't know. I just turned it on and like put it in
No,
reverse.
don't move. Okay.
Why am I not moving?
Boop.
Oh, I was
Ow.
jumping on it, so
All
if
right.
I would have moved, I would have fell.
Ah.
Ah, damn, I forgot they shoved this here. Let me in. Let me in.
Let me put this on the ship.
Yo, I'm so hurt already.
Wait, does that hurt you?
I don't know. I'm damaged. I think so. I think when I landed, I broke my legs.
Oh,
Shit.
my bad. I didn't know it hurt.
What? What happened, Gremlin?
I'm trying to move the terminal.
I don't think we can move it while we're landed. At least. Oh wait, huh? How did you let me do this earlier?
Do we want to try and move the truck so it sticks to the side of the ship, or?
Yeah. That's
Drop your
smart.
flashlight before you do that.
Okay.
You want to help him?
I don't want to die. Alright, I'm coming. Oh,
You're good. You're good.
to the right, to the right.
To the left. To the left.
I'll push it. Oh, wait, I think it's on fire. Never mind, that's just a turn signal.
That's just a turn signal. Oh, careful.
Alright, you're good.
Oh,
Neat.
cool.
Hey, you
Now
guys
we
drove
have
it and
a
it didn't explode.
I wonder if it'll
See?
take me if I'm sitting in there.
Told you, I'm the mechanic car you.
Okay, but you have a history. You have a history with this car.
Yeah, that's because you put it in a shit place.
Y'all left me.
Did you hear that?
Wow.
Uh,
He went AWOL. 1,000.
So I didn't think y'all actually left me. I was trying to see if sitting in the truck would let me be brought with you or not. It does not count. That count as in
Wolf,
the
that
ship.
was comedic gold though. Like just the slow fade out of your voice. Yo, left me.
Okay, I'm done with my snack for now. I drink some water though. It's a little dry.
Okay. I will actually drink some water too because I'm thirsty.
All right.
Half a cup of cold tea. Does that count?
Yeah. See, where I'm from, we drink our tea cold.
I drink tea.
Ice cold.
Yeah. See, English breakfast
think-
tea cold is awful.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
when Earl Grey gets cold. It's pretty good.
I'm not a big tea person.
I only drink Earl Grey.
I'll drink English breakfast or oolong.
Oolong or Arlong?
No, not oolong from One Piece.
The dragon
I was
tea?
wondering who got it.
What you saying?
Dragon tea.
He's a fish man, not a dragon.
Long? Long or dragon? Dragon!
You trying to tell? You trying to tell?
Dragon! I don't do that tongue
tell your-
thing.
to tell your Chinese friend how to say dragon in Chinese? I feel
No.
like that's like,
Why am I on the side outside of this?
I don't know. This is magic. That unceremonious little drop. Like, that was funny.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Has everyone been fucking with us again? I feel like my stamina, like, disappears so fast.
I don't think so. I actually think everybody's suspiciously quiet. I didn't charge my
Well, I mean,
flashlight.
The feed.
How is
says
Wolf all the
9
way
o'clock.
over here already?
We're fucking around, apparently.
I was just walking!
Dead end. Oh, I'll leave the door open.
I burned it all last moon on something that didn't even happen. Rip. Rip. Whoop. Ha, it didn't get me. Now I gotta find a fire exit. Ooh. Locked! What about the other door? Not locked. Ha! Suck it, door. Ooh, a bell. Who is this?
Hey, who redeemed?
Who redeemed what? What happened?
Who redeemed? Who killed you?
Ugh,
Check the feed. Who?
nobody killed you. You killed you.
Give crewmate, gold bar,
Gold bar.
ghost girl. What even happened? I can't see anything about kill player.
What,
Ah, I
did
guess
you
we
die to
just
the
died
turret too?
something Random.
Yeah, the bell
Rich.
makes you so heavy.
Wolf also dead?
Yeah, that happened to me. Redeemed gold bar right as you died. Oh no!
Wolf also
Oh,
dead?
I was wondering where that gold bar came from. I was like, how do I have this?
Yeah, you guys are dead. Rip.
Go get this stuff, Richie. No.
He's just dancing away his
Right.
worries.
Oh, poor Sophie redeemed gold bar. Well. Yep, you fractured lazy.
Ah!
Just standard. Lazy gremlin. Lazy.
Well, my excuse is it's my birthday. It's now my birthday. When it's your
So what
birthday, your
happened?
friends have to do
thought-
your work for you.
What did you guys die to?
A turret. Bells make you really heavy.
Yeah.
I see you.
Sophie, it's your favorite.
Yeah, I found it.
Sophie, does this make up for the gold bar?
Straight away, my comfort cushion in chat.
Back in the fray.
Let's do it.
One for good luck.
And another one for the goo. Really wish I'd get notice when you're going live. Do you have your notifications turned off? I also post. Hey, what? What? You guys gave Renji a gold bar? I won't die this time. I like shiny things. How much is the gold bar worth? Things need to tell me when you're live more often. 100? Is that like an actual item or is that like a crowd control item?
Run. Run.
Run from what?
There's something that's dead in that way.
What is it? Shoot
I
it.
don't know what it was. I just heard. I don't have a gun. It's a dead end too.
This one?
No, this is the only way to go. But there is something, a mine on the ground, so be careful. Oh, that's what it was. Follow me, follow my voice.
I'm trying.
To the right, straight, yes, downstairs. Down
I
the stairs.
can't
Come
see
on,
stairs.
Keep going. Run straight. No, it's here, behind you, directly. 180, 180. Oh, you got this, come on.
Was I at the door? Bang.
Well, I mean, with this gold bar, we should be alright. Okay, I better go get you then.
Like every item, the price varies. The CC items might have fixed price though. Might use like a default value that gets modified depending on the moon it spawned on or something. Interesting.
So
What's
that
Wolf
is
doing?
the only way we can go. If we go that way, we get killed by that thing.
What thing?
Oh,
No, wait, can you take this too?
okay.
Drops me on the ground.
We might as well... there's only one way to go.
Yeah, I got
And there's-
Sophie's gold
huh?
bar, so we're like way good.
Oh yeah, we should call him this one, because there's no other way to go without dying.
Why are they suddenly hurt?
Like, I took one step off the ship and then it spawned in my hand, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I don't have to leave then.
Nice.
Rude.
We're good. Gold bar is a lot.
Yeah, we
You
just...
need me to carry
you know.
something?
Okay, here you go.
Oh, stop throwing me all over the place. Oh no.
I don't know what they're
The
saying, but
ragdoll.
I can only imagine you is gonna...
Stop throwing me around!
So, I'm gonna throw him again. Actually, though, you wanna play hot potato with their body?
Okay.
I can't.
You guys aren't very... You guys don't even know how to play hot potato.
This is so bad.
Happy birthday! Love you, bestie.
Thanks, Ulysses, for the clarification. Surprised the heal didn't refund. Oh, rip. Oh, hello.
Wait, help me get up.
Where's with the butter?
Sophie gave it to me.
That's a lot of butter. Makes sense coming from
That's what I thought it
Sophie,
was
though.
at first.
Wait, now we can make pop, right?
And butter? No.
Sure, why not?
Oh my god. There's $492, 500. dollars
Hey,
worth of
hey,
sheets.
y'all want to make some butter soda?
Butter
Called all
soda.
the
I've still
arteries.
never tried that.
That whoopee chicken
Shake it. Shake it. Would you like a soda?
though. Okay.
Snacks. Snacks.
Could you imagine if we could just like drink this?
Imagine if you shook it and it just went pfft, and it
Does
drops the
nothing.
volume by
Just
half.
layers around.
I'm stuck here. There we go.
Benji, turn off the
Are we
intercom.
selling everything or no?
Metal and other goods.
Okay.
No.
You have fuel.
Should we?
Well,
what?
I don't know. It depends if y'all want to buy stuff or not. Are we selling everything?
I don't know.
That's a lot.
Metal sheets, like-
It's like 5 times almost.
It's up to you, really. As in, like, you fracture, because like,
No, we sell 3 metal plates. That's it. That's quota.
I legit. I don't think I'm gonna be back on this with you until like probably Thursday.
Alright.
Thursday.
Well, yeah, I got work tomorrow, you know.
I just got to stream tomorrow.
I was trying not to say the word, but okay.
Oh, what? You I can't. You don't let me do that shit.
Wait, are we selling more? or No.
I'm trying. It's like streamer etiquette, you know. I'm just trying to be polite and not say the thing.
Don't count cushy. Don't count the cushion. Oh, okay. My bad. Let me put it in the shelf.
Yeah, we would if it wasn't in storage, I guess.
Oh, where is it?
Buried underneath all the
You
metal.
can hear all of
But you
this.
can hear it.
It's the 2D metals. Alright.
Still got my butter. I guess
And
you
this
want
for money.
stuff. Well, I think they're selling some extras just for some monies.
Okay.
Why? What you want to buy, Gremlin? What you buying?
Money.
You're buying money.
Yeah.
Make money. Best way to do it, I guess.
Loud horn. Interesting. What does that do?
Hey, Wolf, have you seen that
Mhm.
clip the other day?
What?
Gremlin.
From the other day?
Gremlin was playing by themselves, and then someone gave him one of the horns, and then they were like, "Who
Give
did this?"
somebody
And they
this?
just, well, not this. You know, like the little like squeaky horn that I love to play with.
Oh yeah.
Someone gave it to them, and then they were like walking back under the ship, and they're like, "Who did this?" And they just started squeaking it, and a dog came out of nowhere and killed them.
This is called unfortunate timing. Foul timing.
Hey, it was not unfortunate timing. It was organized because Sophie summoned the dog. Moons. Adamancy. Confirm. Oh, we have to go up first. Did no such thing, you liar. You said you did. Wah.
Is this you know like with passing a kid? It's like pull the horn. Is that like our equivalent to that?
If you hold it, it gets
I'm sure-
longer and louder.
Fast enough.
Why'd I tell him that?
You annoyed yet? You annoyed yet? Are you annoyed yet?
Yeah, I know,
Change that
Sophie.
sound. Has to
Oh
be
no, the Santa
change the
hat.
sound of this.
You can still see it a little bit.
Stupid, 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 stupid.
Stupid, 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 stupid. Every time I hear it, I think of the edit I did. Where it just zooms in and I'm just like... I
Okay,
forgot
but,
flashlights!
You stay nice and safe. I have a flashlight. I didn't die.
Good for you.
Wolf,
I'm
leave
drunk.
my butter alone.
I can't see. I'm also fast.
Be careful because there is a cliff.
Now tell me what I know, Travis. Give crewmate zap gun. Alright, who got the zap gun?
This is for killing the
Wolf.
monsters.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're not
that
Wolf.
means-
Wolf! Oh, Wolf got the gun. Oh, shit.
Oh, wrong person.
Again.
I was trying to give you a flashlight! Ugh. Stop it! Here,
Oh, wait, thank you.
jerk.
Did anyone else? Okay, well, never mind then.
You zapped us and you expect to not be called a jerk? Angie, why are you walking so slow? You
Too
hurt?
much zap.
Out of points.
No
Oh,
longer-
out of points!
That's it.
Rip.
Everybody has just been like redeeming all of that. You.
I'm glad. It's about time. I've been trying to figure out a way to get coins off, or everybody's neon off them. Because everybody...
Okay. Wait, I got you, stay still. Wait,
Why is it always me? This is the third time you zapped me.
Get it!
damn Wolf.
I'm trying.
It doesn't actually hurt. I think you just like stop it from moving.
Yeah, it's just stunning. I didn't know if it
Where'd it go?
was. Now
Oh.
we know.
Ew!
If I am last and I still have this gun, I'm sorry, but I'm not getting eaten.
Hey!
You.
Ah,
Present.
there's a turret somewhere. I can see it when I jump.
You. Present. Present for you.
Present.
Happy birthday.
Is it an engine? It's a fish. You want a fish? You want this? That didn't sound good. Why is it? Ah! What?
There's spikes.
Oh, there it is. It ran off. Kill it. Zap it. Zap it.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Where'd it go? Ah! Ah!
It's on your head, Wolf.
It got me.
Hey guys, guess what? This is a bracken. Ringy, your favorite.
Alright.
Ironically, not what we've been dying to.
Somebody find it so I can zap it.
What is zapping it gonna do?
It just freezes it. It basically gives you time to kill enemies if you want.
What are we supposed to kill it with?
Right now.
Easter egg. Kill it. Ah! Let go! I was gonna throw this egg at that thing.
Dead.
What's that? Oh, oh, it fell under. It flew up.
Door!
Reach.
Wait, no.
Where is it? Get it off my head. Get it off my head.
Drop the gun, I'll shoot it.
No. Fucking shoot you. You see this shit? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Stop laughing at me.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
Where is it? Why can't I pick it up?
See, where is that aim in Valorant? Where is that?
Wow, get called out.
It was like the quickest flick I've ever seen.
Are you gonna pick up these bottles or what?
I didn't see the. I got him. Shoot me.
Well, I couldn't if I wanted to.
Oh, you're gonna.
How do we leave?
I was not paying attention. I mean, nothing. Can we pick this up? No, we can't.
I hear slime.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, I hear it too now.
Hello. Key.
A key?
Yeah, right there. Right there. This way.
Oh. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Oh my god.
Spider.
I can't
You're
see.
dead.
I can't.
Good luck.
Hey.
Oh, you're dead.
Rude! Oh, hi, Renji. What'd you die to?
There was a dog outside, literally by the door.
Rip.
Why is everything coming?
I got drunk vision and coil head.
You can have that. You can have it. No, wait, not you, not you. Wait, let me shoot again. Let me shoot again. Scan it. Scan it.
Oh man, we're gonna lose the butter.
No, leave me
We're
alone.
gonna try and lose the butter. No! Sophie's butter!
No!
People start summoning things, or we just get unfortunate.
I think we just got done.
I think it was just unfortunate.
Oh, that was so bad. Like a spider came.
Yeah, I had drunk vision too, so I was like, well, I'm stuck here. I was expecting you to go while I was still alive to watch it.
Well, yeah, I
It
was
would've
trying, but
It would have if you got outside, Wolf. There was a dog right outside the door that got me.
oh dang,
Everything was fucked.
I'd have been in trouble anyway. Think.
Are we on March? Back down.
Yes.
Let's go. Did they lower the quota?
Maybe?
We are on December.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay. Dude, Ulysses really good at gaslighting people, which is terrifying. I have questions. Like, one, why is your model, your PNG, this is cute little owl? And then,
Was
the
it
amount
Wow,
of
I don't know if you saw
evil.
the drawing from yesterday.
No. Oh, did you draw him?
Stuff.
Oh, wait, let me go see. Is it under your Discord?
I don't trust it. I don't trust
I posted it. Yeah, I posted them all in the Discord, under the art tag, like you.
Wait, Ulysses
like,
is
what?
actually super cute.
I thought it looked.
You
kinda
did really
stuff.
good with Flocky, too. And Sophie, that's really good for Sophie's is really complicated.
Sophie was the one I tensed my arm the most to get like real clean lines.
Fish.
Fish! I
was
found
like,
this.
If anyone's gonna
This
judge
one
me
is
at any
scary.
point,
God damn it.
Close me in there.
Somebody
So
closed
the
me in
only
there.
way is the scary way. That's a dead end.
The only way is the scary way.
Yes, this way is just I don't like it.
Ooh.
ominous.
Among Us. Unas honest.
You.
Eh?
Like you
There's a
or
landmine
me?
right there, and you almost stepped on it.
No, I didn't. I knew it was there.
Like you or
No.
which you?
The gremlin fracture.
Okay.
Gremlin fracture. The fuck kind of
Yep.
concoction is that? I can't see
don't know.
shit.
It's your dumbass.
I hear a stabby ceiling. And there's
Yeah.
mist.
You hear a stabbing?
Yeah, you know, like the spikes that fall from the
Oh.
ceiling.
So confused. I was like, what's a stabby?
Stabby? You get stabbies?
It is so dark out here.
What the hell? Why is it so friggin' dark?
Because it's misty. Present!
How do you see anything?
I got an axle. Renji, do you want this for your car?
Alright, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, we can use spares, for sure.
There.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, careful. I hear it. Found a door.
Aki.
The door is a dead end.
There's 2 fire exits this way.
2?
Yeah.
What do you
There's
mean?
the thing.
2.
One there, one here. Do you not see them?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
Well. God damn it, what the fuck just happened?
I saw the laser as I died.
I told you, I was like, there's a spike thing there.
Why are you also dead then?
Because the pop threw me off the side.
I just heard a pop and then I flew off the side.
Oh, that was so...
Oh, that is so funny. Oh, if only there was
Those
multiple
things
pops
never
of that
pop
one.
on their first drop.
It pops if you die. I've learned that.
It does? I didn't know that.
Yep, that's why it keeps happening. I keep finding an Easter egg. I should probably not pick that up. You guys should pick up the Easter egg.
No, I don't need it. I always throw them at people.
Why did I buy that?
Why did you?
I have no idea. I was just like, oh, it can't be that annoying. It's way more annoying.
What do you mean? I love it.
I wonder why. Oh, it's worse outside. It's worse outside.
Who said things? Oh, you know the thing from the forest?
My headset is giving me a bit of a headache.
I'll let y'all take a...
Wow, right off the fucking bat. Bracken bitch. A bracken bitch. Can I have stuff? I found the emergency exit. A plastic cup. Red Solo cup. I fill you up. Excuse me? Ooh. I'll take that. Let's have a party. Pop out at a party. I can't fucking see where I'm going. Okay, there's the entrance. That way. I'll walk sideways. God. This is the worst item in game. Well, I don't know why I dropped that. Welp. What is that?
Halt! You shall go no further.
What is that? A
Garbage
trash can lid? Why do you have that?
Because I found it.
Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's all there was through the doors. Wolf had to do parkour, so...
Something
cool.
bit me in there and I do not know what it was, so I ran.
I got my ass bit and I ain't going back in there.
Wolf, maybe it was the cannibal.
Cannibal?
Yeah, from these, you know?
Oh,
Forest cannibals.
those weren't people.
That was the quickest I've done that parkour jump though, and I was panicked.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I know. I figured because you walked straight through and then it happened, so I'm like, okay. And I looked up and there was 2 redemptions.
How much we got? Enough? No?
We need like 14 more. So one
Today's-
per item.
We gotta go. Someone's gotta go back in. I
It
vote
really hurts.
that one.
I really hurt though. Somebody come in, you can bait me.
Ah! Benji, watch the ship.
Okay.
Bait.
Come on.
Alright, you can just bait me. From one tap. You get some
Watch your
Valve
Valorant
practice
league go. I ain't got a
in.
gun.
I'm gonna use all Valve lingo for the rest of this.
Are you gonna do the call outs?
We gotta push
The
site. No, we're
comms.
pushing site.
Pushing site?
Pushing site. Yeah, the entrance
I don't
is
have
right
that kind of stamina.
here. We're going to A.
This isn't A, this is
Alright.
B.
I'm gonna flash in, follow behind. Alright, site's clear.
I can't parkour.
Yeah, we gotta go across danger.
Can we walk around danger?
No, this is the only way. We gotta go across danger.
Ah, damn. I don't know why you didn't see that happening. You're the only one.
You got this. Come on, wingman.
Did you call me wingman?
Jump. Yes, come on, wingman. You got this.
Uh,
Got it. Nice.
The problem is going back with items in my hand.
There's a vent open right there. You just need something 14 or higher. Alright, you want. Oh! Stop, back.
Hmm?
They got Thrash up there.
Thrash!
That's a Cypher trip. A Cypher trip.
There's a turret.
Oh, run, thumper. Thrash, there's Thrash. Gecko's on site.
Chat, help. Chat, help me. I'm stuck.
Just crouch under it. Alright,
I'm really-
Why is it so hard to find one? Oh, we went in the circle. Alright, we gotta get through Gecko. We gotta go through Thrash. Right, be careful of the Cypher trip though.
What about this door?
There's a door. Oh, something big down here.
It's probably Thumper.
Oh, key. No, the keys don't sell for money.
They open
Another
doors.
Cypher trip.
What's
There's a cipher
what are
trip
you
behind you.
calling a cipher trip?
The snare fleet. Thrash is coming. We need one. Where's bomb? We need a bomb. Where's the spike?
Left it at sight. Left it at defender spawn or attacker spawn. What is that way over there? Just run for it.
Oh no. Cypher trip. Oh, Thrash. Gecko here.
Ah!
Just run. Oh.
I picked the wrong thing. I think Sophie. I think the RNG chose me to return you.
I think my redemption went through.
What'd you? What do you redeem?
Yeah, it went through for sure. Oh, fuck.
What'd you die to?
Surrounded. I fell off Abyss.
Piss. I can't believe you called the flea a cipher trip. That's.
Because you can't get past them.
You can get past cipher trips.
Without getting caught? No.
Well, I didn't say.
I need one for the baby. What's the baby? The baby will be...
Mosh pit.
It could be Mosh Pit, but I don't think Mosh Pit grows into legs and chases you down.
No, but it
No,
does.
that's Wingman.
When it hits the ground, it expands, and then tiny ones explode.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
What'd you
I
redeem?
had Mosh crying.
What'd you do?
Kill player.
Oh no, I died to
I
some
mean-
everything else.
It went through as you were dying.
Add
It went through, so.
of points, out of coins. Sophie, don't put boobs in chat. Is everybody else out of coins?
No.
Would send you back to ship would have saved your life. You saved
Okay,
Renji's
the
life.
funniest- No, yeah, it was so. That was so bad for RNG. Wolf, you almost got saved because Sophie redeemed crewmate back to ship, but it picked me
Oh.
instead of you, and I was already here.
Oh, damn. Thank you for almost saving me though. Man, I got tripped. They had a cipher.
Ulysses,
trip,
you're
there was
evil.
Molly after me. Thrash was
Well,
there.
because Sophie did crewmate, so I think crewmate is like me and Wolf.
Yeah. Player is the player. Crewmate's everyone else.
Content. I wanted to leave Wolf, meant to choose player one. Wow. I think it was because of his Valorant callouts. What?
Don't worry, Wolf, that was for you.
I thought my Valorant calls were pretty good.
And this one's just for fun.
I don't find it very fun.
That's why it's fun.
Help us preserve food. Are they aiding the metal? I can't pick that up. Why does this count as full hands?
What, my lip?
Yeah.
My garbage lid?
Or anything. Oh, are we still in the truck? just realized there is a way we can make money.
Alright, fine. Go on, drive the car.
How much do we need?
Oh,
Go
I
on,
just
drive
wanted
the
to push
car.
the ejector seat.
Oh,
Everybody
wait, no,
always
we do
pushes
have
the
quota.
ejector seat.
We do have quota. It's
What?
66, not 86.
Oh.
Oh. I thought we were dying. Well,
We went back in for nothing.
we died
Stop
for
and
nothing.
lower it?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Somebody could have lowered it then.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of lower quotas.
I didn't see
You
that
missed
on
that.
screen.
Oh.
Ulysses redeemed it like 5 times. Thank you, Ulysses.
Ulysses, you're so kind. But I'm suspicious.
Dang. Ulysses redeemed it like 4 times. That's why it went down by 20.
I was just over here like, oh, I was ready to kill Friday.
I was about to kill myself with the car.
Thanks, Ulysses. This one's for you, Ulysses.
I don't think he wanted it.
Why would he want it?
I have no clue.
Cannot move it while it's just being used.
Chat. Chat, get him. Chat, get him. Chat, get him. Wait, buy flashlights. The enemies feel this way too. He has to do that because if I put it in storage, he doesn't know how to take it back out. Ah!
Are you glad you bought it? Are you glad you bought it?
Don't run me over. Wolf is gonna die.
You want me to
Somebody
push?
push me? Yes, please.
Oh, that's cool.
He wants a flashlight.
I think we need a new car.
Oh. Here.
Fracture did it. Thank you. I'm surprised it didn't
I didn't
blow
do
up.
that. I can
I'm afraid to
drive.
Get in it.
It's gonna be upside down, which is bad. Oh,
Hey!
nice. I'm gonna go inside. Are you guys tired of the Christmas music? Can you even hear it, or is it really loud? Is it really loud? How has it not exploded yet? RNG. Renji saved it up all year long. Wouldn't it be funny if there was a boom as I go inside? That didn't happen, chat. Pretend that didn't
What
happen.
did you do now?
Nothing. Don't go that way. Yeah. No. No thanks. No thanks.
Aquí.
Aquí, aquí. I found another one. I found bottles. Bottles. Yep. Oh no, there was another one. Ah. Is Wolf dead? No, Wolf's not dead. What's Wolf doing?
Okay, that was easy.
So easy, in fact.
Let's go help them find money.
Why is Renji hurt?
We're up, I guess.
Hello.
Seriously.
What
The wolf
happened?
dummy died, and I don't know how.
Oof.
How do you not know?
Did we?
I also
You
don't know
couldn't
where.
put 2 and 2 together?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Okay, I'll go and look for more.
I had 3 more neon.
Dang.
Is that why you gifted a sub?
What dumb.
Selfie, don't do that. You have a bad habit. All of a sudden, I remember.
Everybody's here trying to spend points to revive a dummy that died. Dang.
Don't listen to Renji, Selfie. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's not in the first slot. Hate that.
Selfie.
Yo, Wolf just found so much shit. Okay, I better go in and help.
We're prepared to move. Oh.
3 p.m. though.
Oh, I'm in the ship. Okay. Subcoins. Are you a subscriber, Sophie?
That took too long. We died. Bye.
Hey, there's a dog out
Oh, that
here.
scared me when you came in.
There's a dog, so go off the side.
No, I'm not scared of no dog.
What the fuck?
Where is it? I don't see the dog.
Whose phone was that?
Oh, my phone. You know, I pictures of everything in this game. Imagine dying because I got a text message.
Wait, shut the door!
Nothing happened though. See? It's all good.
You guys gonna go back in, or?
I think we got enough, but what
We
was
got
that?
195 according to what I can
Oh
see.
yeah, the dog saved. Hey, what was that? No, stuff got left.
Huh?
Or the game bugged, one of the two.
Still says 195.
Oh, they're wrong then.
Wow, Wolf, so lazy.
Huh?
How was Wolf lazy? You're the one that died.
Not dead. See how I'm very much
You died to
alive?
something. Yeah, because someone
Oh,
saved you.
but
Someone had
by
to
the
make
way,
choice.
there was another spiky thing on the ceiling on the opposite door.
Oh.
The only reason I knew you died was because I was like, wait, what happened? I looked up to see the stream and I was like, oh. Well. I don't like that scene.
Not sure. Oh.
Hey, look, an engine.
Adamants.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
look,
why
an
I thought
engine.
The game bugged.
Where's an engine?
We just flew over a V6. I think it's under the ship now. Though.
Oh, wait. Lowered the quota. Oh, dang, that's unfortunate.
Oh, like,
I don't see anything.
there's bees. Are we getting the bees?
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Bees. The bee's
Oh,
knees. Has anyone gone to the moon that's written on that wall?
What?
I think I have once.
It's really expensive. Is it scary? More so than normal?
Yes, and no, it's still pretty much a regular moon. Oh wait, no, actually I haven't been to that one. I have not been to that one.
I was gonna
Well,
say, that's like 1500. Great, more ceiling shit.
Yeah, this place always has it. Oh, that went off at the exact moment I needed it to.
Door. Present! Fucking Bracken. Wonderful. Huh? Guys! 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 There's...
Happy birthday, Fracture, where are you?
Ow! Please be a sign. Oh, I got pickles.
Thanks, you.
Ah!
Wait, that's right. It can't just be me. You have to do it too, Virgie. Oh, of course.
Them bitches. Them bitches. They think they can take my pickles. Cannot. My pickles. I don't even like pickles, but they can't have them. They're mine. Pickles piss me off because they never taste like how they smell, and they smell good. Like they'd be tasty, but they are not. They don't taste the same. And that is why pickles are the biggest liars in existence. Ow. They hit my head. Ugh. 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 Ah. Yeah. That's not good. Aw, dang. I tried. I heard it chasing.
You'll never catch me alive.
Why did you open that?
Because oh wait. Oh,
Thanks for
there's
telling me,
Virgie.
Wolf.
I tried
Tell
to
me you what?
save you.
About the giant?
Oh, you left before I could. We went different ways.
Oh, nice. We have quota now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ouch.
Man, I had a whoopee cushion.
You forgot vanilla extract. That's truly the biggest liar. Do you
I
guys know
also
what vanilla
had the
extract
sign.
is?
Hmm?
Nasty, exactly. I wouldn't call that a liar, though. Unless you mean that it's not actually vanilla. You guys know what vanilla extract is in the US?
Yeah.
What is it?
Isn't it just vanilla extract?
No, it doesn't come from vanilla plants at all.
What vanilla
mean-
extract are you using?
The fake
I'm
stuff?
from Europe, so
Oh, I use the
everything in
real
America
stuff.
is just chemicals and fake.
No, I only get the real one.
This is when Wolf finds out that what he's been having is fake.
Don't confuse imitation extract with the real stuff. They both taste terrible, though. You're not supposed to eat it by itself, Sophie. Offense.
I mean,
I'll confirm.
Gremlin, we both know Sophie's sense of taste is a bit
It
off.
smells like it's tasty. Okay, you're not supposed to eat it by itself. You have to put it in stuff. It makes stuff tasty. It's not itself tasty. It is alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol is not tasty,
No. It's fun.
but I still drink it.
I want a margarita.
Yo, I got more soju downstairs.
I have soju. I want margarita. Mine's upstairs.
Eat it on your birthday.
No. I want to go get more pomegranate liqueur. Oops. Ah, fucking mansion. Oops, that was a button that was not meant to be pushed. I saw it first!
Why is it this place?
I have no idea. The RNG hates us.
Is this a thing that can happen now?
I think it's always been able to happen. Where's
Yo,
Wolf?
Where are you?
Right here?
Gremlin.
Renji, I'm
Wolf's
behind
right
you.
here.
Renji.
Dude, there's a birthday present over here.
Eee. What the fuck is that?
Looks like a fight stick. Or like a...
That's
like
cool.
a
Control
arcade
pad.
thing?
Yeah. Neat. Why does it make that noise? It's like the joysticks are loose. Why are you crouching?
Just in case.
You scared a mimic's gonna come out of nowhere? Hey, there's a thing right there. A laser pointer! Oh my god. I got video games for my birthday, guys. Look at this. Where's Wolf?
I don't know. I mean, we got stuff. we
Oh,
could
he's
bring
still
back.
on the... I'm gonna drop stuff by the door. Well, I found a bar.
I'm leaving.
Open? No. Oh, fucking key. Ooh. Nanny. Well, that's a weird RNG play. You put the key under there? That's fucked up. there's a basement. Okay, it's a dead-end basement. Water? Oh, hydrate.
As soon as I
did
went
we grab
inside,
the
all I
control
heard was
pad?
screaming.
We grabbed the
What
control
was
pad.
there? I don't know what happened. I left as soon as I went in. What happened?
Oh my god.
Well, time to go back.
Whew. That was not a. That was an experience.
What happened? All I know is I went through the door and I hear screaming and I turned around
Yeah.
so quickly.
So
I was trying to warn Reggie. He was like, "Don't go in there, don't go in there."
Oh, I hurt my own head doing that. Fuck. Chat, please. Chat, please. Ah.
This is when
Ow.
they should spawn a dog. Team White Plus
Don't
right
encourage them.
now.
So, you know that thing that, like, drags itself around, but it eats you? Like an indoor dog, almost?
Thumper?
Yeah, the thumper. I was sitting in a room, and I saw it walk by, so I shut the door, and I just sat there for a bit. Then it opened the door and came in and walked past me a couple of times, and I'm like, alright, once you pass me, I'm gonna run past you. So I tried to run past him, and there was another one, and that's where I started screaming.
Okay.
And somehow found the front door. I know, I'm impressed with me too.
So, any reason we're still just like here?
How much stuff do we got? No, not at all.
We got more than enough.
Yeah, we got some money. Oh.
Oh. Oops. I was trying to exit the
Cool.
screen. How much is that?
Unless he's got the
74.
clip. I'll watch that later.
Boom.
Clip on my side. I was gonna send for it.
Uh.
Oh, why can't we play a game with this? There needs to be an Easter egg.
If I explode the truck, it will kill Wolf since it's on the side close to the horn. Is it on that side?
Mastermind sent that whilst me and Wolf were like walking from the ship to the entrance.
Mm.
And I was saying to
What do they
Wolf,
have
like, wouldn't it be
against
funny?
me?
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they did that? But they did that, and like Wolf just wasn't there, and everyone was like, haha, we got him. Got him. And it's like, Wolf just appears again.
Oh, we're selling.
How much do we need?
All of it.
We got like 400 worth. We got quite a lot.
Oh, if I knew we had this, I need to find one of the kids. What are they called? The tree
Kids?
giants. The tree giants.
Oh. That's far from a kid, Wolf.
Well, in their lore, they're kids. That's why they eat you, because they like putting stuff in their mouth.
Oh.
Cool,
Yeah,
that
but
far.
in the lore, it was saying like, or something was like, shine one of these next to them, and I want to see what happens. But I've never gotten the chance to shine one next to them.
Well, they like to be in adamant, so...
Just
Oops.
true.
I don't know. There was that one that got me on experimentation.
Flashlight?
Mine's here.
Adamants. Ugh. I can't hear you guys for a minute. I gotta take my headset off for a second.
Because we're not talking.
Let's see how interesting this is when I can't hear any communication. Or any monsters, for that matter. Are they coming? Oh.
Hello.
Why did you run across it? If you walk, you can make it across.
I was walking.
Oh. Well,
You think I'm that stupid?
maybe you're
I
just
know.
a little bit chunky. You got a cheeseburger in your pocket? If you do, why aren't you sharing?
Why would I share?
Why would you share? You know what? I don't want your cheeseburger. You probably put ketchup and mustard on it. Ugh.
What's wrong with ketchup?
Why would I put mustard
I
on
found
my
it.
roast?
It's mine.
Well, I
Oh,
found
fucking
this.
hell.
Here you go, Reggie.
There's another helium tank.
Wait, Reggie.
There's another helium tank.
Wait, I'm full. Reggie.
I realized I don't know how to get back from the firing pit of this place.
Where is the fire? Where's this light?
Don't go down that.
Oh, this way, this way.
Over here. Over here. Hello? Did they go down? You guys go in the hole? I think they may be stuck forever. With all those items. Yeah, I can almost see them still. In the distance, chat. Well, mine is playing tricks on me.
Oh, bees, bees, bees.
It's like I can still hear them calling me a dummy. I miss them so much! Oh. What the fuck did you die to?
Bees behind you, bees.
What'd they die to?
Bees.
What'd he die to?
Bees. They like to be.
Man, you used up all that RNG on messing with that car, bud.
Is that everything we had?
Don't worry, I'll save this for you.
Alright, when we're leaving, I'll
Or
grab
how
the
he died.
bees.
How'd he die?
The bees.
The bees?
Yeah. There are bees right there. I'll grab them when we leave.
Bees? 318. For some reason, Renji... Oh no, that's the engine. There he goes. Now you will become machine like me. You will join me.
Come on, kiddos. No,
Eh?
maybe the wrong choice of wording. Come on, giants.
Are we gonna get the bees? Are you gonna
I'm
get-
get them when I'm leaving.
We'll get him.
Are we leaving?
Yeah.
Alright, alright. Let me put this down then.
Don't forget to put your flashlight down. I'll be
Let me
On.
steer my way.
That's not how that works.
Let me hope. Alright, you gotta be ready to leave so that. Oh, wait.
What do you mean, oh wait? Woof? Okay.
I missed it, I missed it. Wait, I missed.
I can see.
Alright, let's try it again.
Ah! Ringy!
I got it. Go. Oh, wait, we're good. Where's Fracture? Wait, what happened?
Wait, pick my body up! Pick my body up! He didn't pick my body up, I don't count. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. I was bored.
You were bored! I told him we were leaving!
Yeah, I was bored.
Oh my gosh, I was saving the horn for you.
Boring.
Wow.
Boring.
Why do you sound like a toddler?
How did you die?
Ringy killed
I
me.
killed him.
Oh. If I didn't close that, it would have been a team fight.
What are you doing? What is that?
It's the backward stance shuffle.
No, you're backwards, Stefan. He's sidestepping.
Oh, he is.
Can you hear this? Can you hear this? This one's eclipsed.
Squishy sound.
It's that bee bomb. Your favorite.
The B-bomb?
Squish and squelch, man.
Ew, don't say squelch. I'm amazed we still have that car.
Squelch.
Oh, okay, yeah, alright.
Ah!
Your cousin.
Stop it! Did you say my cousin?
Oh.
Gotcha. Turn on the apparatus.
That's why I like on that one new world, the one in the cabin. You go
Dumb
there and
queue
turn
system
up the
ruined
apparatus,
everything. What happened? Ulysses, what happened? What were you trying to do now? Wow! Why did you do that?
So you can see your cousin.
That was...
How did you find that so fast? Oh, shit.
And y'all were chatting shit about my RNG.
We're right here, right here. Get the apparatus, get the apparatus.
A sprint. I'm out. Sprint.
Save. Use the truck for cover. Wait,
That
wait,
seems
no,
like a
open
bad
the
idea.
door. Open the door.
Why does it sound like a baby?
I honestly don't know that. I don't know the lore for the. Oh wait. I need to scan it. I need to scan it.
Holy crap.
Shut it, shut it, shut it, shut it, shut it, shut it.
I didn't know it was such a fussy baby.
What was it?
It was a robot. Alright, I'm checking the lore for it because I've never actually looked at the lore for it.
Wasn't that fun, guys?
No. I tried to give you ultra jumps, which are even larger than what you had before, but you never jumped, so I queued it for when you would leave the ship. But when you queue things near ship arrival, it doesn't always go off right away. Not me also screaming when it shut up.
Wasn't that crazy? The first thing I found was the thing. What's that noise?
We're reading the lore.
What's it say?
Those things are called old birds.
They don't sound like birds.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I was
typical big
confused. I was
baby.
looking.
I think I'm gonna have to drop out soon.
Yeah,
I was meant to go and do work.
I'm gonna end stream after we finish this. Cause I got a headache, and I'll probably be back later for Bendy. I need to go lay down. Work! Ah!
Yeah. Ulysses, I was only meant to play this with you until you was gonna do Bendy, and then I was gonna go off and do work.
That was 3 hours ago. Well,
mean,
if I
if you're
can't
gonna-
go to the company if... Wait, or we have one more day?
Oh. Yeah, it says one more day.
Oh.
Hey, Gremlin, don't
Wait,
worry.
I'm getting off.
You know, we had the plans for later, but don't worry about it. If you got headache and that.
Nah, that's fine. I probably just need to eat and sleep a little more. I stayed up trying to figure out how to wrap a Christmas gift, and it wasn't going great, especially when I ran out of wrapping paper. Do you want to finish this last day?
Yeah, I can finish out, and then
Experimentation. Safety moon. Quick and easy.
So do you guys think this garbage lid is a shield, or like it wouldn't do
I was
anything?
thinking that, but I don't think it does anything. It doesn't have another option.
Yeah, because like the sign, it has a whack command.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was just because if it was a shield, like, you know, I wasn't sure if they would have just had it as a passive kind of thing, like it just does it, you know?
That's possible.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could scan items and they all have like a thing they do?
What, like a description or something?
Yeah. Like the bell when you move, it's not only is it super heavy, but it goes ting ting ting. Even if you're crouched.
Okay, call anything to you, yeah.
Huh?
The dogs, what, you would never get a bell on the ship if the dog's there.
Yeah, you would
What's the
never...
point? This was a dead end. Why is there a vent open? We just got here.
Something already spawned.
Oh. Hey, I think there's...
Stuff my way.
Where are you?
Well,
Okay.
there's a lot to
Okay.
explore. I don't
It's
know.
the one thing. Oh yeah, that.
He's called a loot bug.
Yeah, well, not the loot bug, the So it was Jerry, for lack of better names.
Jerry?
Yeah, the little poison shooter dude.
Oh, that's poison. Oh gosh, why is Renji excited? What'd you find? What'd you find? 100% should let Captain America throw it. 80% chance it flies forward, no damage. 20% chance it deals damage to whatever it hits. If succeed, 20%. Roll 50% chance to see if it bounces or deals damage. Can bounce to 3 players. To players. Crazy.
Well, now you
That
need
sounds
to-
complicated.
Yeah, probably.
What happened?
Bracken.
Wolf just jinxed us.
There's a mine.
Anything in this room?
Axel.
Oh yeah.
No, we have almost all the parts for another car.
We just need the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
We had one before.
Doesn't count anymore. The timing on that. Why do they give me every time I'm talking? How do you guys do that?
Door.
Door?
Door.
Dora the Explorer? Dora.
It ran off.
Dora. Dora the Explorer. You can lead the way.
Knock knock. Thank you. Squish.
Dude, stop it.
Squelch.
No.
So much squelch.
Stop.
Sounds very moist.
Moist doesn't bother me. Squelch bothers me.
What is squelch? Like,
It sounds gross. It sounds
I mean,
worse
none
than
of
the
those
actual
work.
sound effect.
none of those bother me at all, but like, okay. Final day.
Nice, nice.
Look at all that junk. And it's barely above quota.
Let's get to selling.
Oh, no, not that.
Do we have any
Whoa,
more,
this
like,
is a lot of two-handed items.
Yeah. Should we just put it all on there and then
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Ain't no way we're making the next quota.
It's possible.
No way, cause I'll be by myself.
Well,
Did you just make it mad just for the fuck of it?
no, it's pre-selling.
Pre-selling?
What?
What keeps the company happy?
I can't jump.
Are we selling everything or no? 'Cause I think
Yeah.
we're in quota. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Say goodbye to the V6. Why didn't you want a V8? I thought that was all the rage. You don't like V8?
No, we don't find them, you dummy.
Oh, what's the
There's
difference?
on 2 more pistons.
Oh,
It's
You
called
can-
a V6 because they're 3
V8
pistons
takes
on
too
each
much
side of the
gas.
V-pad. Yeah, there's that too. It's got more cylinders, so it's more compression. Can you tell I watch
Oh.
car content?
I couldn't put that up there. Hey, Renji, that's open.
Somehow
How
I
did-
didn't die.
Yeah, how did you do that?
I don't know. Like genuinely, even I'm surprised. I should have died there.
Hello? Hello?
Huh?
No.
Am I magic?
That door's been open this entire time.
Yeah.
Open this door. Wow.
Did it
We
sell?
got 728 out of 430. Alright. Alright, chat. I'm gonna call this one here because I need to go lay down for a bit. Which...
Did you guys know there's a service manual for the truck?
There's
Yeah,
a manual?
I found it in the back of the truck.
Have you never read it?
Art.
No.
Oh, well, you should read it. It has good information. I won't spoil anything for it.
How audio in, temperature, humidity. VHS cassette tape. What? What? Oh,
Ah.
wait. I got copy the raid message.
Guys, who should I
Thanks
raid?
for the stream, Graham Ring.
This person's doing a subathon.
There's that. Locky streaming. Just saying.
Oh, okay. That worked. Red. King. Flock.
FOLKY8.
I can see it.
Can you? Thanks for having us, Gremlin.
Yes,
Happy
thank you, thank
birthday!
Ah, shit.
you.
Why is there...
It was
Oh,
fun.
never mind. I thought I typed on it. Anyway, thanks, guys. I will see you later. Bye-bye!
Happy birthday.